Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's not normal that a reaction be made to the statement made by the leader majority concerning the program for the House or the business of the House for the week or the coming week. But this is now a very unique moment in the life of this Senate. Most likely, this sitting and the afternoon sitting will be the last sittings of this Senate. And I wish to join him in thanking you, Mr. Speaker, particularly in holding the fort. You have been guided by the principle of trying to keep the House together and many times seeking bipartisan solutions to problems that may confront the House. And I think generally, I want to appreciate the House in the sense that most of the issues that have come before the House have not been determined or decided on the basis of majority or minority. On both sides of the House, we have found people supporting certain positions, while a number of both sides of the House would oppose, whatever was being canvassed before the House. And I'm talking about issues like, when we were discussing the issue of the formula, both sides of the House was not divided on the basis of parties or majority or minority. I think both sides of the House supported different positions. Members supported what they thought was in the interests of their counties and the country generally. I also want to thank the Senate Majority Leader, Senator Pugisio. He's a perfect gentleman. He's so easy to work with. And I think with the long history he has had in Parliament, you tend to hear people talking about Senator Pugisio being the Speaker the House has never had, both in the National Assembly and in the Senate. And I wish him well because he will continue to serve, hopefully, in the Senate. And I want to appreciate leadership, previous leadership in the House. Senator Murkomen has been mentioned by the Majority Leader. I must also mention the fact that I've enjoyed debating with Senator Murkomen, his clarity of thought, and I hope he continues to give that service to the nation. And I'll miss debating him in the House. And that goes to Senator Kithure Kindiki, who was there before him. And on my side, Senator Moses Wetangula, I think, is one of the most eloquent and skilled legislators that we have in the House. And thank the House generally and its leadership for the work we have done. But, Mr. Speaker, what I want to really point out is that, we should always support the judiciary. The judiciary is so important. We never know what is going to confront this nation ahead. And Mr. Speaker, there was a time when if you are arrested for any offense, your days were numbered. You would be taken to trial. Honorable Philomena Chelagat, within a month she had been tried, convicted on trumped-up charges. I know at this day and time, whatever the case was or the complaint was, at this day and time, somebody like Senator Murkomen, Honorable Philomena Chelagat, would never have been tried and convicted. Nor would have been great legislators like Anyona, who again served long prison terms on matters that were just fabricated. People like Matiba, who would not have served those times in detention, or my party leader, Raila Amolo Odinga, would not have served those many years in detention if at that time we had an independent judiciary based on the constitution that we have today. So I hope that for now and in the future, we'll defend the judiciary. There should be no clawback on the judiciary. And I think there are ways of dealing with problems within the judiciary, be it corruption, but I think there should never be any situation where one would want to control the judiciary. And I hope that the next parliament will stand firm in defending an independent judiciary. Mr. Speaker, you know, even the Senate, for one, would not be doing the work we're doing at the moment without that advisory opinion that was made by the Supreme Court. No business was coming to the House until the Supreme Court made that decision. And I hope that the National Assembly in the future will learn how to work with the Senate as an entity so that this sibling rivalry that has characterized this particular parliament, and even to some extent the previous parliament, would not continue. But I want to note that most of the laws that have been rendered unconstitutional by the courts have been bills which have gone through the National Assembly without coming to the Senate. Because I think the Senate, we have been a little bit more careful in trying to look into the kind of legislation that comes before the Senate. If you look at the many statutes or provisions of those statutes that have been rendered unconstitutional, is because most of the time the Senate was not allowed to have a second look at it by sheer neglect of not complying with Article 110, sub-Article 3 of the Constitution. So I hope that, you know, in future, the National Assembly would want to work in tandem with the Senate and together as a parliament do oversight and legislation as one entity as opposed to continuous sibling rivalry. Mr. Speaker, I am aware that you're making an important plea to the Speaker of the National Assembly on certain legislation that was passed without it coming before the Senate. I also hope that the executive in the future will look at, before an assent is given to any bill, that they would, you know, look at the provisions of the Constitution properly and not just assent to bills where there's been no concurrence and there's been no participation by the Senate. And some of these things, you know, they look all right when the going is good, but when they catch up with you one day, because unfortunately, conduct of public bodies and public officers and state officers don't die while they're in office. Even 10 years down the line, a lot of these things can be brought up again and questioned. So we hope that we are going to have an executive that applies the law in conformity with the Constitution. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, we have done a good job, and I think the country is so much the better because of the positions we have taken, particularly in relation to devolution. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Onesimus Murkomen.